10 years ago, an important figure in the world of Illinois government entered this world. No, it was not our 20th president, Abraham Lincoln. It was Richard Lockhart, an institution in Springfield and the state of Illinois since 1958. He's a man who exudes class and integrity in his role as lobbyist. That is really saying something because this profession does not always carry those virtues. On February 5th, 2014, inside this incredible building, a resolution was read honoring my dad, thus making this day feel like the land of Lockhart.
Most of you know Dick as a lobbyist, but I rise to honor him for his service during World War II and specifically at the Battle of the Bulge. Dick was an infantryman in the 106th Infantry Division. His division was positioned at the front lines surrounding St. Vith in Belgium and near the Lausanne Gap. This is the area that the Germans had placed the tip of their spear in the hopes of one last thrust to take the port city of Antwerp. Only because of the determination of the Americans who fought instead of retreating on those initial days beginning on December 16th, were U.S. forces able to set up roadblocks, put artillery in place, and send reinforcements. That led to the Germans delaying enough to halt their progress. Many of those initial troops died or were captured. On December 19th, many of the men of the 106th Infantry Division were forced to surrender. They were completely surrounded. 6,879 men of the 106th Infantry Division were captured. Dick Lockhart was one of those captured. Dick specifically writes in his bio, "When the war came, I was eager to be in it, and in fact enlisted and volunteered for infantry. In due course, I found myself a casualty during the Battle of the Bulge. I became a prisoner of war. I will not attempt to describe those combat conditions in December of 1944. The Ardennes Snow March, 4 days and nights jammed into boxcars with no food or water and being bombed by your own Air Force in the process. Suffice it to say, I, along with several thousand other GIs, found myself entering the gates of Stalag 9B, Bad Orb, Germany, on December 26th. Stalag 9B was a very primitive camp housing several thousand Russian, Serbian, and French soldiers. It was reserved for privates and private first class only. There were no medical facilities, no sanitary services, no heat, and not much grass soup. Men died every day. And yet Dick Lockhart survived Stalag 9B. Dick was awarded the Bronze Star, the Combat Infantryman Badge, and he still is here today with us. These are the men that we should dedicate our bridges to. These are the men whose names should be on the buildings of government that the government owns. These are the people that we should remember, and it's their history that we need to bring to our youth. And there's an inscription in a World War II cemetery that reads, "When you go home, tell them of us, and say for your tomorrow, we gave our today." And so that's what I'm doing. I'm reminding you that men like Dick Lockhart fought for our values and our freedom, and I appreciate him. Thank you very much.
Dick Lockhart, as you heard, won a Bronze Star and then came to Springfield and started his lobbying practice in 1958, 46 years ago, and probably deserves another Bronze Star for working with all of us and all of our predecessors over the years. It's a real testament to the man's character that through all these years he's been able to work through various governors, various majorities in the Illinois House and Senate, lots of staff people, lots of people in the administration, several administrations, and he still brings the energy and the work ethic to the clients he represents on a daily basis. Dick comes to visit me often on issues that are important to him, and he's just as relevant and sharp and energetic as he's ever been. And so, Dick, to you, another 90 years, and I hope you spend them all of those years with us here in Springfield. And to many of you who would have left this evening but are not leaving because of the weather, Here's your opportunity to pay homage to Dick Lockhart in person at the Sangamo Club at 5 o'clock tonight. Come on by, shake Dick's hand, make it a real party, celebrating the life of an extraordinary individual. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I just wanted to add one thing to that, Dick Lockhart really was one of the greatest generation, and all the things that have been said before us, but I just wanted to add a thank you to him for his dedication to making the world of people with mental health better in Illinois. Thank you.
People, it's our responsibility to never forget when somebody serves this country. So take this opportunity, talk to Dick about his service. I was talking to Dick the other day. He told me he manned a 57-millimeter cannon, and he said the only thing it was good for was to alert the German tanks to his position. He said fortunately he had got knocked out the first day, and the only gun that he carried was a .45. It was talked about being in the cattle cars, being strafed by his own Air Force, but he was also in the Salarg that General Patton's son-in-law that was in, Walters, and they actually went behind German lines. Freedom didn't have enough firepower to get them back, and they were recaptured immediately. Take this opportunity, talk to Dick. He's a fascinating man. Dick, thank you for your service.
Let's head into Springfield's iconic Sangamo Club to hear from friends, colleagues, associates, and family. They had plenty to say about this legendary figure in Illinois political history.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dick. Happy birthday to you.
That recently I've been very interested in going to birthday parties for people who are older than me. I don't know what that is. I think we have definitely set a record tonight, though, for attendance at an event in a non-session day. And this is fantastic, this turnout, Dick. Even though we had to cancel in part because of our workload and because of the weather, I did encourage the senators, and I'm very proud that a number of them are here, to honor you. I was a little late because I was reading your do's and don'ts that you passed out to us. I think you are living proof, first of all, to be against term limits for anybody, right? And that's something which I kind of share in your thoughts on that. But in reading those do's and don'ts, I was very impressed with your advice, especially your advice for people to travel. I thought that was very interesting, because I think when you travel, you find out, especially if you travel outside of Illinois, you find out we're not the last in everything in the state of Illinois. So I think that's very good enough, obviously, to travel to other countries and learn more about and appreciate our country. So, Dick, you've been truly an institution. You really give respect to the name of Lobbyist, and I'm very, very happy to be here to wish you a happy birthday, as well as, obviously, your continued work in Springfield. So thank you very much for inviting me.
I won't be as funny as Senator Cullerton, because House members are not allowed to be funny. It's an honor to be here with my friend Dick Lockhart, who, when I met in 1987, when I got to Springfield, looks exactly the way he looks today. All of us have aged significantly, but not Dick Lockhart. And I'm quite certain when all the elected officials in the room are gone from this place, and all the lobbyists in the room are gone from this place, Dick will still be here doing the great work he does. And so I was honored to work on the resolution and to talk about it a little bit on the floor today. And I won't read it to you, but the resolution talks about Dick's war record, the Bronze Star he won, his work at Northwestern University, his work with the Holocaust Museum and other important charitable causes. And the dozens of clients he's represented in Springfield and done it well and with distinction. And I'm proud to be his friend, and I know all of you are proud to be here as well. And Dick, we did what we could to keep people in town with the weather. IDOT has been lying about the road conditions all day to keep these people in the room, and it worked out really well. Thank you all for joining with us tonight.
I'll be brief because we know that Dick has take a nap after this, so. You know, I was surprised that they asked me to speak for the former speakers of the Third House in honor of our great dear friend Dick Lockhart. Apparently Nicolay, Lackman, Roushey, and Strawn all said no before they finally got to me. The Illinois Third House is a group for lobbyists by lobbyists. It has been around since the 1940s, and Speaker Lockhart here was named speaker in 1981. Dick is the dean of the Illinois Third House, and as dean of the Illinois Third House, we often look to him for guidance and advice. And so the following words are from Dick himself. And I got to tell you, I framed your words, and they are very close to my office. Well, actually, they're very close to my desk, I should say. And I look at them quite often. So if you'll bear with me, I'd like to read this to you. This is the Lockhart logic. Credibility is a non-renewable resource. Once gone, it is gone. Expect the worst and plan accordingly. You can never win an argument with a legislator. Never. A legislator and his ego are never parted. Criticize a legislator, especially in print. Wait a minute. Never criticize, never criticize. Kind of missed that. I gotta get these checked here. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. Never criticize a legislator, especially in print. Never say never except for the preceding statement. Organizations have egos too. It is better to convert an opponent than it is to gain a supporter. If it costs money, it is in trouble. If it saves money, it'll probably be in trouble too. If you can't defeat a bill, dilute it. If you can't dilute it, delay it. Getting mad at someone is a luxury you cannot afford. Do not threaten. Promise only what you can deliver. Help those who help you. It is better to look for a key to a locked door than it is to try to beat the door down. Persistence wins. If you want to know, ask. Constituents make the best lobbyists. Fear and/or greed generate most legislation. Everything is temporary. Be nice to your enemies, because tomorrow they may be your friends. Be willing to forgive, but not to forget. A lobbyist, a professional, is someone to blame when things go wrong. Necessity is the mother of strange bedfellows. Coalitions are temporary love affairs, seldom consummated or even blissful, and they frequently lead to seductions by clever suitors. I like that one. The merits of an issue are seldom enough. No bill should be called before its time. Legislation is not only the art of compromise, compromise is also an art. A good lobbyist learns something new every day. A lobbyist has no job security. Repealing a law is usually more difficult than passing a new one. Mandate is a dirty word. It is almost impossible to keep a legislative secret. Integrity is also power. Say thank you often and mean it. Don't take all the credit, even if you think you deserve it. Commitments are important, but don't count on them. Legislative rules are important, especially the unwritten ones. Legislation and political campaigns cannot be separated. Publicity is a tool of lobbying, not a substitute. Politics and war bring out the best and worst in people. There is no such thing as flawless legislation. About the only thing that can be guaranteed in legislation is there are no guarantees. From Dick Lockhart. Finally, as a former Speaker of the Illinois Third House, my esteemed colleagues requested that I present our dear friend with a gift. And they asked me to search the state archives in hopes of finding a photo of Dick when he first began lobbying. And after months of research, I'm very pleased to report that such a photo has been found. This photo shows a much younger Dick Lockhart with what is believed to be legislative drafts, which were prepared likely by some kind of form of the Legislative Reference Bureau, but that was again a long time ago. So if we could please. I was quite surprised myself. Very, very much younger Dick Lockhart here, as you can see. Did they pass? I think they did. I think they did pass. Recently. Finally, I know I've taken way too much time up here, but finally, in conclusion, I'd like us to all raise our glasses. Thank you, Dick Lockhart, for your years of service, for not only for your clients, your fellow lobbyists, and for the state of Illinois. You are indeed a gentleman's gentleman, a wonderful lobbyist, and a damn good friend. To this, I'd say, to Dick Lockhart. Thank you. Enjoy the photo.
I'll be very brief. The last speaker did very, very well. Congratulations on a wonderful career. Congratulations on all of the contributions you've made to the legislative process, to the legislature, to the integrity of the legislature. All of us are much better for what you've done for the institution, and we thank you very much.
On behalf of the members of BIFEC, of which Dick is a founding member, we wanted to be here this evening. As Dick's colleagues to express our affection and respect for all that he has brought to the profession in the way that weekly at our meetings, Dick helps all of us, mentors the younger lobbyists as they come up through their careers, and for that we all will be forever grateful. We at BIFEC, to honor and mark this occasion, we brought together two Springfield icons. We asked Mr. Crook if he would do a rendering of Dick in honor of his 90th birthday, and we'd like to unveil that for you now. Dick.
I can tell you, I'm in my 60s and I don't have a mind like Dick's. His is a steel trap. And Randy kind of gave it away. I don't know if you remember this, you probably do, but most of the people in this room don't. But on March 31st, I'll celebrate 40 years of working with Dick. And a lot of people barely make it through 40 days sometimes at a job, so to do 40 years. But I think probably everybody in this room understands that 40 years working with Dick is a pleasure. It's an honor. I'm going to cry, so I won't be much longer, but I've never known anybody who is as honest, has morals, and just an incredible man who every single day I still learn something from Dick after 40 years. It's a joy to work for you, Dick, and 40 more. Let's go.
Really have had the chance for the last 3 years to work with Dick, and every day, especially in the winter, I see Dick vaulting over snowbanks. This is true. He doesn't wear a hat. He doesn't believe in cell phones, and he's trying to get acquainted with Twitter. Let me also say that Dick, his first client, I believe, was the Mental Health Association. And I know that Dick is mentally ill because he's definitely earned a trip to Palm Springs, but he would rather be here with you. So, a toast to everyone in this room, a toast to Dick Lockhart, and let me just say that Dick has talked many times about, he was a POW in World War II, and he says that experience has made him who he is, and he would never change it. So here's to you, Dick. You're all our hero. Thank you.
It's so nice to see so many people here to help me celebrate my father's birthday. And for those of you who put this on, I really express my gratitude. I'm so thrilled to be here from New Mexico. It was quite the endeavor to get here. I'm so glad it worked out. My father has instilled in me a great work ethic and a great sense of humor. And I want to say that I'm very proud of him and want to wish him an extra special birthday. Thank you.
Neither sleet nor snow or damn cold weather or a crummy commuter jet could stop Judy and I from being with you here tonight, Dick, to celebrate your birthday. So first, congratulations on your birthday. Second, I remember when we hired him in 1976, the lobbyist that we had on board at that time went to Washington and became a regulator. Guess that wasn't too good a hire on my part in the first place. But we needed somebody to maintain what I thought and still believe is a very strong reputation at credit unions when it was time to get somebody else to represent us in Springfield. And so I asked around a lot. We didn't have a rush to hire anybody at any particular time, but I wanted to make sure we had someone that had the same kind of values, same kind of ethics, and a bit of a sense of humor so that I could relate to it and have some fun with it. And it didn't take long before everybody kept pointing the same guy, Dick Lockhart. So I interviewed him, and it was an amazing fit right away. And Gail was part of that crew back then. She was brand new and learning the ropes, and we learned together under Dick Lockhart. It's been an amazing run since then. I left 10 years later, but I remember one of the first things we charged him to do was to recodify the act. So right away we baptized him by fire, and it didn't take long. The legislature understood us because of Dick Lockhart, and we were able to get it done. So he's just been an amazing friend ever since. And the only story I'll tell you, and then I get off of here, is many years later, I was up in Wisconsin at the time, and my son and I started a little baseball card business. And we'd go to different shows, and we came to Chicago to the Cubs convention. And it was a horrible night when we arrived in town. It was bitter, bitter cold on Michigan Avenue. No one was on the street, and we were lost. I had no idea where I was. I'd forgotten Chicago, I guess, and I didn't know where else to go. And all of a sudden, there was somebody huddled up, walking down the street, and one person on the street. So I rolled down the window and said, "Sir, can you help tell me wherever I was going?" And it was Lockhart. Why in the world he was out at that hour, I have no idea. But I thought back and never questioned where he went or what he did, and I wasn't going to start that night. I needed to know where I was going. So Dick has always been a source of information, even that night on a cold, bitter night. He's a great guy, great friend, and I think this is super. You're all honoring a guy that well deserves it. And boy, I'll tell you what, somebody said it before, he looked like that when I hired him in 1976. What a guy. Happy birthday, Dick.
Dick was one of the first people that I met when I came to Springfield. As a fairly young and pretty naive person when it came to the legislative process. In the nicest way possible, he told me not to steal another person's bill without their permission. And I remembered that forever.
If you're not careful, the bar will close before you. This has been an extraordinary evening for me. I did not expect this kind of a turnout, and it makes me cognizant of the family that I'm a member of, with all the rest of you, that we can come together and we share values, we share experiences, and we share each other. Randy Witter, Linda Brookhart, and Keith Sias have have worked hard to make this a great evening, and I've promised to reciprocate on the occasion of their 90th birthday. And it's hard to express some of these things that we do share because they're oftentimes unexpressed. They're feelings, they're deep-rooted feelings. And that's why we find it difficult to talk to anybody outside this family of lobbyists and government and tell them what goes on down here and how we must relate to it all. And so it's an occasion like tonight. It was one of those rare events where we've been able to do that. Now, we had an occasion here, as I know Linda and some others remember, 10 years ago, when I had the 80th birthday here. And I admonished everybody to be prepared to come back in 10 years, and I see you have done that. It's the only thing you've done that I wanted you to do. I am not saying that we'll be back in 10 years now. I kind of doubt it. But I also wanted to say something about my son, David, who is a very skilled video person. That's how he makes his living. David, do you want to get behind the light and say a few words in your own defense, or what?
No.
Well, anyway, you know, I was concerned earlier today because the fact that the legislature really went home and great effort was made to make sure that they all were aware of this, and I'm glad the leaders of the House and Senate did make it. But you are the true believers, basically, and you understand the experience. It's an experience you cannot explain to anybody. I understand that, but we share it on occasions like tonight, and I thank each and every one of you for being here and making this a memorable occasion in my long life. And I've had a number of interesting experiences in my long life, and this is certainly well at the top of those events which have been so gratifying to someone who has been able to get to the age of 90. Thank you all very much.
Yes, this is where it's happened for Richard Lockhart for so many years, and I just want to say, Dad, happy 90th birthday. I can't appreciate you any more than you already are. You're definitely our hero. So God bless you, and thanks so much for being such a great person and a great dad.